Okay, so you will download the email header content from this link, and then use your knowledge about the email header, and you go to this particular link to answer the following question. So if you can see the questions, there are: who was the original sender of the email? How many times was the email redirected before arriving to the destination? What is the IP address from where the message originated? What country did the email originate from? So does it match the country indicated in the body of the message? What is the reply to address in, is it different from the sender? So first, let's go ahead and open the header. Now, I will not walk you through the whole lab because it's really a simple lab. So, I don't want to do it for you. So you have the header here, and I think Mr. Shadi might have showed you already in the lecture how you can get the header of an email, right? Like, for example, if you get an email in the Gmail, you know how to get the header of that email? Yes or no? Guys? Hello?
Oh, the header? Yes.
What I'm
Actually, he showed us a picture, but didn't explain it.
Yeah.
Okay, so you don't know how to get the header.
No.
Yeah.
This header is a sample header which is already provided to you. So in this particular in this assignment, you will just copy this header which is there, but I'm just trying to show you for for the just in case if you want to actually investigate one of your emails, and then you need to know how to get the header. Okay.
Okay.
So let's say this is the email that I'm looking for, and I want to get the header of this email, and let's just say it's a phishing email, for instance. So I'm going to go to the email, and then I go, if you see on the right hand side, there are 3 dots. And then here you see the show original. Okay. So if you click on show original, you get basically the header of the email that you want. So you can copy this whole header. Okay.
Okay.
So it's ending somewhere here. And then the message, original message, it starts. So this is all the header information. Now you can actually go through the header by yourself as well, like manually. Like you can see here, delivered to, received by, and then there is a timestamp also. We know that the SMTP is a mail transfer protocol that is being used. And then you can also see the type of encryption and hashing algorithms that are used. RSA and SHA is being used. But remember, when the email you get, it actually goes through multiple IP addresses. Okay. What I mean to say is that when a sender is sending an email, like if I'm sending an email to somebody who is sitting in the United States, for example, that email might be routed through multiple servers. So looking at the first IP, you cannot actually know if it's the, which is the source IP. Like here, you can see that there is an IP address 209.85.220.69. And then,
Sir Asad, I
yeah.
just came. I was paying.
Yeah, just when I finish my demo, I will double check the attendance. Okay, so
Okay, thank you.
so like I said yesterday also, like when I finish the demo, nobody is allowed to leave the session. So I usually what I do is that when I finish the demo, I go back again and check who is there. Okay, so if you leave the session once I finish the demo, I will mark you absent. If you come late, you will, you join again, I will mark you as late. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Okay, so if you see, like I was saying, now this is an IPv6 address, and then you can see this is an IPv4, which is, and then there is another IP address here as well. No, not this thing. Yeah, so this is also another IP address. And then let me go through 41. Yeah, so this is another IP, and then also you can see there is another IP 220.4. what I'm trying to say here is that the header has a lot of details that that are important, but manually going through these headers is a bit uh, difficult, or I would say it's more time consuming. So we have some online resources that can actually parse this header for you and give you the information that you're looking for. So in that case, for example, I want to know the questions that I just showed you there. So now you know how to get the header, okay, in the Gmail, for example. And every email, it might be different. Like if I'm using an Outlook, Outlook has a different place where I can find the header. Let me just open Outlook. I don't remember exactly where is the header for the email in the Outlook, but and also I think I deleted my account from the Outlook. Yeah, so it's not showing here because I already left this organization. I don't have the password. But remember, if you are in the Outlook client, you will find it on a different place. So you can Google it, like where to find the email header in Outlook, where to find the email header in Yahoo or whatever. So once you get the header, now the second thing that we have to do is we need to investigate and find out who was the original sender of the email, what was his location, what was his IP address, in which country he was, and stuff like that. So let's go to this tool, which is suggested here, but this is not the only tool that you can use. So let's first go to this. Now this is MX Toolbox. I don't think you need to create an account and log in, but lots of paid services as well. What we are really looking for is that I want to analyze this header that you have been given as a sample. So I'm just going to copy this header. Yeah, so let's copy it till this point, and then you have the original message. By the way, if we go through the message, it says that, "Dear sir, madam, my name is Joseph, and I'm from Guinea-Bissau. I don't know, my late father was the former minister," whatever. So he's basically kind of sending a phishing or spam kind of email. So I will copy the header, and then I go to the MX tool, and then if you see here, there is an analyze header option. So if you go to the analyze header option, and I press Control V, and then I click analyze header. So it gives you a summarized kind of information and the information probably that you're looking for. So for instance, the first question was that who was the original sender of the email? If I open here, you can see that there were 9 hops it went through the email. So rather than looking into this complicated header and trying to figure out where is this first IP, where is the second IP, it actually gives you here that through which hosts or hops this email actually went through, and then you can see here the first one is 85.250.54.29. So most probably this is the sender from where the email was actually originated. So this is one thing, or let's just say that I found out the IP address of the sender. Let's go back here, for example. Now he says who was the original sender. I mean, I think he's not asking about the IP address. Probably he's asking about the domain name, from which domain this IP address was originated. So let me just see another source. It's called IP to domain lookup. So I think it can be done within this as well. Yeah, so we have it in the MX toolbox as well, that we can reverse lookup from IP to the domain name. And then as you can see that the domain name is this one. It's bb.netvision.net.il, right? So I got the answer of the first question, that who was the original sender. So you can mention the domain name, which is basically this one. Okay. So how many times the email was redirected before arriving at the destination? So as you can see here, there are 9 hops. So basically the answer to the second question is 9. Now, like I said, I'm not going to do all the questions for you. But what I want to show you, another thing is that, okay, there are some other free header analysis tools as well. So let me look for another one. Email header analyzer. Let's just open something else except from the MX, and let's see how they analyze it. I'm just going to open one or two and let's see what kind of output they give. You have another one as well. Okay. And then you can see here, this is again a what is my IP? It's a very actually famous website. When I put the header into this, and it also points to the same thing, that the original source is 85.250.41. What it additionally does is that it is even giving you the location that the email was generated from Israel, the longitude and the latitude are this, the city was Tel Aviv. So this is, I think, one of the questions that I just did it for you, which is, yeah, so which country the email was generated from. So there are 6 questions that you need to answer. So I leave the rest of the questions to you. You will answer these questions, and also with each answer, you can provide the screenshot as well. Okay. So this is the first lab that you have to do for today. Any questions so far?
It's
Looks pretty basic.
Sorry?
No.
All clear.
Okay. Now, like I said, I mean, this lab is not going to take a lot of time for you to finish. So I have something more substantial that you can, that will keep you busy, and also at the same time, it's really interesting. So what I want you guys to do today is that I want you to go and find OSSIM, OSSIM, not awesome, it's OSSIM. So OSSIM is basically an open source SIEM solution. Now, the SIEM solution that is on the platform, it's different. It's ELK. That is also, I think, they have an open source version. Alien Vault, I personally like Alien Vault more than ELK. And if you go to the, companies and you want to work in the SOC, probably you will be working on the SIEM solution. So those who, because without SIEM, the SOC is actually nothing. So it's one of the most interesting fields that personally I like, working in the security operations centers, because it has a very, like you do basically investigation on daily basis, the attacks that are coming, the correlations that you have to make. So more nowadays, it's kind of becoming not, I will not say mandatory from the government, but mandatory usually within the bigger organizations, that they are deploying their own security operations centers, and they have a SIEM solution. So SIEM is like the backbone of the security operations center. Okay, and Alien Vault, like I said, it's one of the highly rated. The one that we are using today is an open source version, but they have a commercial version as well. One of the top SIEM solutions out there are, for example, QRadar, which is by IBM. There is ArcSight, which is from HP. Then you have this Alien Vault. That is another one. I think Splunk also, you can consider it as a SIEM, although initially it was not a SIEM. It was basically more like a log collector or log analyzer, but now they have the capability of the SIEM. So let's go to the website and see what you actually need to do. And by the way, AT&T, they have actually now acquired the Alien Vault. So if you see here, you see the download OSSIM ISO image. So basically you will download an ISO image. It will be downloaded. It's not that big. It's 700 MB size. The next thing that you need to do, because I have already downloaded it, so next thing you need to do is that you need to create a new VM. I have already installed it because it takes a lot of time. So it will keep you busy till 4 o'clock today. So if I go to home, so the next step after you download the ISO image from the AT&T website, you will create a new virtual machine. Then you will point it to the ISO image. Okay, like you can see it here. I will browse and I will just show you. So this is the 18-volt ISO image that I just downloaded. Once you click on the ISO and point it to this file, you simply just go and click next. I'm just going to call it awesome this time. Now I will not do the installation because, like I said, it takes a lot of time to complete the installation. But I'm going to tell you what are the things that you need to keep in mind when you're installing, because otherwise the installation will crash and it will not complete. So I have given the virtual machine a name. This is the ISO image where it is, this is the location where it is going to create it. If you want to change the path, you can save it to some other disks. Next, the size of the space that you want to allocate. Now, by default, it says 20 GB, but 20 GB won't be enough. So you need to give it 50 GB. This is one thing that you have to keep in mind. Okay, don't forget that. Next. Now, there are a few more changes that you have to do. So for example, here it says that I have changed the hard disk to 50 GB, but the memory size is only 2 GB. So 2000 MB basically means 2 GB. So you need to change that as well. So if you click on customize hardware, if you see here, the memory is 2 GB, so you need to raise it to 5 GB, okay? So I'm gonna, let's just say, put it 5, 6, whatever the more the better, okay? If you give 4 GB, it will be very slow. If you give 2 GB, I don't think it will even run. So I'm just putting it to 5 GB. You can see 5404. But if you can assign more, it's even better. This is the second thing that you have to change. And the third thing that you have to change is the processors. So by default, it says the number of processor cores is 1. So you got to put it 4. Okay. And once you put this as 4, then you simply close it. So all the changes are now done. 5 GB RAM, 50 GB hard disk, and 4 core CPUs. And then you simply finish. Okay. Now, when you finish, it will start the installation process. And then you have to click next, next, next. I will send you the link where it actually gives you the screenshots. So I'm going to stop it. I'm not going to install because I already have it. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to run. Let me first delete the one that I just created, because I have a lot of RAM and memory issues in my system. So, okay. So this is the one that I installed, and I just named it as Alien. And as you can see, I have assigned it 6 GB RAM. Like I said, the more the better. Okay, let's play this virtual machine. I need to close my browsers because browsers take a lot of RAM from your machine. Is there any question in the chat? No. Okay. I think Abdullah is absent today. I don't know. He went. Okay. So let's give it some time to boot. Want to close the program, so I just want to assign more and more RAM to the. I want to free some of the RAM from different processes. I don't have a browser running. I'll do that. I'm going to close it as well. Yeah, it's fine now. Unfortunately, on my laptop, I have less RAM. I'm planning for the last, I don't know how many months, that I will buy and install extra RAM in my laptop. By the way, how much RAM do you have on your laptops?
For me, it's 16.
Yeah, I'm 32.
How much? 32?
Yeah.
Yeah, so for me, it's still 16, and I want to make it 32. Although my laptop is a gaming laptop, I mean, it's good enough
Ah.
because, you know, it has a graphics card. So
No, you
You-
should
you- you
have 32.
Yeah, you can increase it. Yeah,
yeah,
you buy from Amazon or something.
yeah, this is what I will do. I just want to make it 32 because when you're working with the seam or you have to run 3-4 virtual machines, you actually need more RAM.
Yeah.
And especially when you want to brute force the passwords, then you really need a lot of RAM and also the graphics card. Usually the graphics card is more helpful in brute forcing the passwords. It's dead slow, I think. Let me show you how much my CPU and RAM utilization is right now. You will get an idea what's going on my machine right now. Can you see here? 85% of my memory is gone. 47, 48% of the CPU. So can I kill some process? I don't know. Maybe I can get rid of some unused
You
application.
should increase it.
I need to. I mean, I never felt it till I started running the Alien Vault. It was usually enough because most of the virtual machines, they take only like, you know, 2 GB RAM, 1 GB RAM for Windows 7, 3 GB RAM, something like that. So usually it's, but you know, you can see there are so many processes which are running on my system right now. So that's why. Okay. Anyways, successfully it booted. Now, remember that the Alien Vault, it does not have a GUI interface. It has a web interface, okay? So when you install it, it actually asks you what IP you want to give to your Alien Vault. So remember, I think I've mentioned it many times that on your machine, you have the virtual adapters, VMNet 1, VMNet 8, for example, if you're using a VMware. So usually try to give the IP address of the VMNet 8 if you're using NAT. So VMNet 8 IP is starting with, in my machine, it is 192.168.36.0 or 1, whatever. So I have assigned this machine an IP address of 36.200, for example, okay? So you keep in mind that which VMNet adapter are you going to use for the Alien Vault. So give that IP address. And then it will automatically create a URL for you that is 192.168.36.200. Now, obviously I can log in to the command line interface of Alien Vault, but usually you work with the web interface, okay? So when I log in, this is not the web interface, okay? I just logged in and it gives me. So if you want to change something, like you gave a wrong IP address and you want to change it again, you can actually do that now. Like, for example, I can go to the system preferences and configure network and then set up network management. You can actually go ahead and change it. The network interface, you can change it. So whatever you want to change here, you can actually change it, okay? So I have Ethernet interface, which is okay. I gave it 36.200 before. I'm not going to change it, but I'm just saying if you give a wrong IP, you can actually go ahead and change it here as well. So right now,
So we need to use the same IP.
no, not my IP address. This is what I'm trying to tell you. Okay, for those who are using VMware, I will just show you. So for example, if you are using a VMware, so you go to the Ethernet and then change adapter options. Actually, I can show you in the CMD, but I want to make it more clear to you. Now,
Okay.
here you can see that I'm using VMware, so I have 2 adapters automatically created, okay? VMNet 8,
Okay.
VMNet 1. Now, I'm using VMNet 8 for my virtual machines. Why? Because when I put the VMware settings on NAT, it automatically selects the VMNet 8 adapter, okay? Like, for example, for this machine, if I go to the settings, network adapters and settings, you can see that when the network adapter type is NAT, and NAT means VMNet 8 adapter is being used, okay? Keep that in mind. If you're using Bridge, then it's a completely different scenario because Bridge will take the IP address from your physical network. Like if you're using wireless, it will take the IP address from your wireless router directly. If you are connected to the Ethernet cable, it will take from your, through the Ethernet interface, it will take it from the DHCP server. So to keep it simple, if your network adapter is on NAT, it basically means that all your virtual machines are using VMNet 8 adapter to communicate with the Windows, to communicate or go to the internet. This is the adapter which they are using. Is this clear? Okay. Now, what is the IP address of this? What network range is being used in the VMNet? If I open it, and if I go to the details, you can see that this is the IP address 192.168.36.1, which is assigned to this adapter. Or in other words, if I'm communicating with the Windows machine, the Windows IP address is 192.168.36.1. So from here, I can understand that, okay, I need to use this network range 192.168.36.1, and that is the reason I have given my Alienwalt the IP address of 192.168.36.100, as you can see it on the top here in the green.
Okay, got it.
Okay, so let's move on, because there's a lot of things to discuss. So I'm going to go ahead. You don't need to change anything here if you have done the installation properly. So no need to do anything here, no need to do anything here, and no need to do anything. Are you sure you want to quit? Yes, I want to quit. So this is where we were when we started. Okay. Now I want to access the web interface of this Alienwalt. So all I need to do is open a browser and just write here HTTPS. Don't write HTTP, it's HTTPS. So 36.200. When I click that, it actually gives me an error because I have a Kaspersky installed on my browser. It's giving me error through Kaspersky. If you have, if your antivirus is not, monitoring the traffic, or it's not protecting the browser, you will get anyways a message from the browser itself that this is not a safe website and you should not visit it. But we don't care because we know that this is our own server or Alienwalt that I'm trying to access. So when you go to the details, you can say, okay, I understand and I wish to continue. Okay. Yes. So now for me, because I created an admin username and password, for you, the first time when you will log in, you will write this IP address in the URL. It will ask you to give some detail, like what password you want to keep for the web interface. What is your name? What is your email? You can put that information. Now for me, I have it. Okay. So this is a really nice, dashboard of the Alienwalt. There are actually lots of things to discuss here, but we don't want to go into too much detail on the day one. Today, your target is that you successfully install it and you access the dashboard. However, I want to show you some of the things here. For example, let me see. Okay, ticket security vulnerabilities. I will come to it later. Yeah, okay. Deployment status. Okay, if I click on the environment, for example, I can see assets and groups. Okay, what are assets and groups? Now, what is amazing about the Alienwalt is that once you install it, it will automatically learn the network and it will try to make a list of the hosts which are available on that network, right? So for example, here it says that there is an IP address 192.168.36.1, which is, it's either a Windows XP, or you can obviously change this information because it's not Windows XP, but it detected that there's a Windows operating system. It also gives the information about itself that this is the Alienwalt operating system running on 36.200. Now this one, which is 36.130, I was actually running another virtual machine of Windows 7. So it actually showed me that this is also another Windows machine. Then this is the IP address of the DNS, but obviously it can actually try to find out all of them. So it automatically listed all the IPs which are there. Let me see if I can run another operating system along with it or no. If I have enough RAM left. Okay. I'm trying to run another Windows machine and see what we can do. Okay, so this is one thing. And then if you do not find it here, you can actually go ahead and try to add the assets by yourself as well. Okay, so for example, when I click here, it says, do you want to scan for the new assets or do you want to add it? It's up to you. If you want to perform a scan, it is going to perform a ping scan and it will list all the IPs on your network. So it's in the bigger organization, when you're working in the bigger organization and you are deploying a SIEM solution, usually the networks are big, so you usually perform a scan of the assets. You don't add them one by one, right? So like I said, I already scanned it and it already listed all the IP addresses, so I don't need to add any more, but it's up to you. You can also import the host list from a CSV file, like in, if you have a list of the hosts, you can do that. So next thing is that, okay, if I go back to the dashboard overview, so here it gives the summary. So if you see here, it says that the top 10 events categories are, for example, 26% of the events are related to the authentication. Okay, blue ones are the system, pink one are the suspicious, orange one are the recon. If somebody is trying to perform reconnaissance, basically it will display here that somebody is trying to perform reconnaissance or scanning on your network. Now, if you see here, it says that there are, and by the way, I mean, you can also click to get into more details of these events as well. Like I just clicked one of them and you can see there's a detail of all the logs and the events. So Windows logon successful, network logon, special privileges. So there's a list of all the, and it also gives the source IP address and the destination IP address as well. Okay, let me go back. So if you see here, it also gives you the list of top 10 hosts with multiple events. So right now I don't have many hosts, so it's actually the main host that is active right now, and from which it is taking the logs is 36.110. Okay, so let me show you. This is 36. Are you guys with me?
Yes, Mr. Hassan.
Okay.
Yes.
So this is 36.130. So this is actually my active host on which I have an agent running. And now remember one thing, when you install a SIEM, it doesn't magically start getting the logs from the hosts which are in your network. No, it doesn't happen like this. You have to deploy an agent, or you have to, in other words, install an agent on the other host, and then it will actually start taking the logs. It will not start taking the logs automatically. Okay, keep that in mind. The reason why, because there is 36.1 IP address, which is my host Windows operating system, but it doesn't show that it's getting any events. The reason why, because I did not install the agent on my Windows machine. Okay, that's why it's not getting any events from that machine. Now let me show you the Windows. Ask me later. Okay. I hate the background, this black. I like this one. Okay. So let me show you the IP address here first. CMD. So as you can see, the IP address of this Windows machine is 36.130, which is actually shown here. That 36.130 has a lot of events going on, but nobody is attacking that system. Okay, so that's why you don't see any events which says, there's a scanning going on, or there's an attack going on, or whatever. So you don't see it here. But if somebody starts launching attack on them, basically the logs will be pushed to your SIEM. The SIEM is going to show it on the dashboard that, okay, this host is under attack, or it is under threat, or whatever. So this is one thing. Another thing which this Alien Vault provides is that you can also do the vulnerability scan sitting on your SIEM dashboard. So for example, if I click on the vulnerabilities, Actually, it was not completed, so I'm going to delete it because my machine, it restarted automatically. So, so 130, okay. New scan job, okay. So I click on the new scan job. Let me delete all of them actually. Okay, anyways. I'm going to call it scan 2, for example. So it's a basic configuration template with minimum network discovery, scan configuration, host discovery network. Okay, so you can choose the profile that you need to do. So full fast mode and optimize by using previously collected information. Full and fast ultimate. So the more you go aggressive, the more time it is going to take. Okay. So like if I select this one, for example, full and very deep, it basically means that it's going to take a lot of time and try to give you more detail. But obviously, in the real-time environment, you want to perform a more aggressive kind of scan to get schedule method. So you want to schedule it now, daily, weekly, monthly. I will just say I want to do it immediately, and then only scan the hosts that are alive. So you can give the IP address here, or on the right hand side, you can see that the assets list is there, right? So I want to scan 36.130, for example, right? This is the host that I want to scan. So I'll just say, okay, this is the one that I want to scan, and I click save. Okay. Now the scan has started, but it will take some time to scan and show you the vulnerabilities, right? So this is another thing. And there are lots of things. I mean, I'm just introducing you the basics of the scene right now. So for today, you guys have to download it, install it, get access to the web interface, and try to deploy at least one agent on the on the host, on another virtual machine, or even on your host operating system. You can deploy the agent. Okay, this is your
Okay.
task for today. Now, let me see. Yeah. So now let's go to the deployment, like how you are going to deploy the agent. There are two ways to do it. One is that you look for an agent. Like I will give you an example. So for example, there is something called Snare. Okay, Snare agent, I'm going to call it. Now, Snare is basically, it was actually free few years ago, maybe 1 or 2 years ago, but everything eventually becomes commercialized. So unfortunately, they have commercialized Snare. It was an amazing tool. You can integrate Snare with the Alien Vault, but there are other free agents as well that I will tell you shortly. Now, when you go to the Snare, you actually can try it for free as well. Like, but I don't want to register because it asks you for the email, and then they will send you the link and whatever. But what you can do is that if you go here in the products and you see Snare agent, here you can see the Windows agent. So since I have a Windows machine, I will select the Windows agent. If you are installing or trying to get logs from a Linux machine, you will select the Linux agent. You have the syslog, you have Solaris, Mac, whatever agent you want, you can get it from here, right? So Windows agent, for example, if I click, now it asks me to register, and then they will send me the link to install, link to download the agent, which I'm not going to do it now. But there is another agent that probably you can work with, is Wazoo. Wazoo agent. Before it was called OSEC, now they call it Wazoo. So Wazoo has install Wazoo. I don't want to install Wazoo. I'm looking for the agent. Let's just see. But if they have a plan, I'm also planning to give you a lab on Wazoo because I really like this platform also. Yeah. So here you can find out the agent. You can get the agent of the Windows. You download it and you install it on the Windows machine. Okay. But that is not. I mean, today it's not your task to install or download the agent. Okay. Now let me go back to the Alienware and show you how you can deploy the agent remotely using Alienware. So when I clicked here on the deployment status, let's just see. My machine is getting slower and slower now. It's not connecting with the server because of not having enough RAM. Passive vulnerability scan, IDS servers. Okay, let me see. Let's go to the assets. Okay. If you see here, the one which is connected, it basically means that it is connected to the agent, the head's agent there. And that's why I am getting the logs from here. Wherever it says disconnected, it basically means it is not connected with this host and it's not getting any kind of logs on it. And similarly, you have this one, not connected. And here it says not deployed, even you did not even deploy. Let me just see what I can do here. So you need a little bit of time to get familiar with it, okay?
Okay, Mr. Asad,
Sorry, yes? I cannot hear you. Can you repeat what you said? Who was there? All right, guys. So in the meantime, when it loads again, I will just show you how to add how to deploy it. Okay. For the time being, you go ahead and first complete your lab with the email header, then download it, start the installation process, and I will just show you how to deploy the agent on the remote machine. You need the administrator username and password for the remote machine to deploy the agent. Okay, just that one thing that you need to keep in mind. Okay, any questions?
Thank you. Thank you, thank you.
I'm going to stop.